So this charcoal was made using the little stove, and what I'm actually doing here in the background is I'm powdering up to make the tar with the pine sap and pine resin. It's actually quite a lot. I've had to switch to a thicker stick to stir it with. The other one sort of fell apart. But I'm getting the whole mix nice and hot a little bit, and then I'm going to make sure it stirs in nicely. Some of this stuff is actually that's quite a big lump of something that shouldn't be in there. I'm just going to take that out. There we are. This is a very sticky mix. I'm getting close to starting to mixing my powdered carbon into that. It's a very sticky process, and also the sticky stuff is also very hot, so you have to be careful of your fingers when you're doing it. Okay, it's starting to take on the consistency now of kind of lard, molten lard. Okay, so you have to still be very careful. This mixture is highly inflammable. If it gets contact with fire, it will catch fire. Okay, but now's the time that we start to mix the carbon in. So I'm doing it a little bit at a time, because what I want to do is to be able to mix it, and it is mixing nicely. There you are. As you can see, it forms a thick tar-like substance. And that's not quite there yet, it's still a bit too sticky. I'm going to put a bit more in. But I'm going to keep mixing that. You can see that now. A thick tar-like substance, and I'm just going to try and scrape it all to the edge, because what I actually want it to do is to end up on my stick, not on the pot. It's about there. There's pine tar glue, and the cool thing about it is that you can now actually handle it while it's still soft. It can be pushed around in that pot. And manipulate it out. It's actually like putty now. I'm actually now handling this. And I can stick it on like that. And it takes on a whole new and different life of its own. That this glue will just stick on there, and And you know, if you need to work it again, you can heat it up in the flame quickly. And that just softens it. Look at that, goes shiny. It's much easier to clean out of the pot as well now that it's a sticky paste. Just put it in a bit of that carbon there to dry it. I'm going to stick it onto that stick that I've got. It suddenly becomes this soft putty that's really easy to work. This stuff is amazing. This is pine tar glue, or it's actually pine sap or pine resin glue. It's just been done by cooking pine resin with a little bit of powdered charcoal. You can find powdered charcoal in an old campfire. Ideally you want it fairly fresh, because then it's like really dry and very easy to use, and whereas when it's got a bit of moisture in it, it's not so great. I'm just putting it in, dipping it in that a little bit. By the way, you do not expect to have clean hands when you're doing this. I'm just pulling it off that stick. It's a nice putty, and we'll just add it to that. It will probably need heating on. There we are. Just soften that a bit. Allow it to get mixed. There we are. That allows me to mix it on there, like that. Okay. And there we are. So that is a lump of hardened glue. That's ready to use. You'd be able to just heat that over some embers or a fire. I just want to get the last of that out of there. You'd be able to heat that over some embers and get that warm, and then you'd be able to pull a little bit off. This is my everyday carry. Carry this stuff around. It helped me light a fire. I can use it to glue something to something else. I can do all sorts of amazing things with this stuff. There we do. Can I clear the tin? Well, we'll see.